Hey guys, Scott here. Today I want to talk about the Sony PlayStation 4, which was unveiled today in New York. If you didn't know, Sony unveiled the PlayStation 4, obviously. And let's start off with some of the tech specs. It has a single chip 8-core processor. It has a AMD next generation Radeon graphics card. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is huge in comparison to the PlayStation 3, which only had 256 megabytes. It has a built-in hard drive. It has a Blu-ray disc drive. It also has USB 3.0, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, basically everything you'd expect from my current system. Alright, so let's talk about the PlayStation 4's new controller. It's called the DualShock 4, and as you can see, it's pretty similar to what you're used to from PlayStation. It's got your standard buttons that you're used to. However, some things have changed. So right on the front, you can see that there is a touchpad. So that's going to be a screen that will light up and give you different options depending on what you're playing. To the left of that, there's actually a share button, and to the right of that, there is a options button. So when you hit the share button, you kind of go into this new view where that will show you screenshots of what you've been doing and the last couple minutes of gameplay, and you can actually go into those gameplay videos and you can edit them together, and you can actually upload cool videos of what you've been doing, tag them, and then go back to your game and it will upload while you're playing the game. On the top of the controller, as you're seeing right now, there is a light bar, as they're calling it, and apparently that has 3 different colored lights. And it's, I believe, will act kind of as like a PlayStation Move controller if you've ever used that. Also, it apparently changes colors depending on what's going on in the game. So if you're playing as a certain character, it might be a certain color, and when you're getting shot or something, it might flash red. Some little effects like that. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, there is an option button instead of a start and select button. So apparently you hit that, and I guess it brings you to, maybe it changes the touchpad to start and select. I'm not sure how it's going to work. We'll see. However, I do think this controller looks a lot nicer than the current PlayStation controller. I'm not a huge fan of the DualShock 3, but this one looks a little bit more ergonomic, looks a lot nicer to me. The analog sticks look nicer. I still wish the analog sticks were, well, I wish it had the Xbox layout. That's what I prefer. But yeah, I'm excited to get my hands on it. Alright, so one of the coolest things, in my opinion, that Sony unveiled today was their cloud services. Basically, you can go onto their PlayStation Network and you can buy a game and immediately start playing it. It will download in the background, but you can play it in kind of like a streaming service, so if you're familiar with YouTube or Netflix, but imagine that for a video game. So you can be able to do that. So demos instantly, games instantly, backwards compatibility will be taken care of via this service right here. This is a service that Sony bought called Gaikai, and it's clear that they're putting them to good use here. This will also provide an easy way for, like I said earlier, with the streaming or the share button, you'll be able to stream games directly to Ustream, and I believe through PlayStation Network itself. So I think this is probably my favorite thing that Sony unveiled today. Alright, another really cool thing Sony unveiled today was the relationship that PlayStation 4 and your Vita are going to have. They're going to be best friends. Basically, what they're working on is having every PlayStation 4 game streamable to your Vita. So if you're ever playing a game at your house and then someone else needs to use your TV, you can just plop onto your Vita if you have one and continue playing from there. So it seems like Sony kind of took a page out of Nintendo's book, but I think overall that their execution on this matter seems to be a little bit better. Alright, and finally down to probably the meat here is there were actually some new games announced. So Capcom announced a game called Deep Down. Sony announced some games, Knack, Killzone. They had some indie titles like The Witness. They also mentioned Infamous, Drive Club, Watch Dogs, Destiny, which was kind of a surprise. I thought that was a current gen game, but it looks like it's coming to newer gens as well. And then they had the odd Diablo 3 unveil. I'm not sure what they were trying to pull with that one. They made a big deal out of it, but it's a year-old PC game being ported to PlayStation 3 and 4. So that's cool, I guess. Alright, so that was basically the PlayStation 4 unveil in a nutshell. They didn't actually show what the system looked like, so that was interesting. Hopefully we'll be seeing that at E3. But I want to know what you guys think. Are you impressed with the console? Are you unimpressed? Excited to buy one? Gonna pre-order it right away? Do you waiting on an Xbox? Just tell me what you think. I'd like to hear it. Alright, and as always, thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next video.